It was September 2000 when we travelled to the German city of Hamburg to meet up with two brothers with designs on ruling the heavyweight boxing division. Back then, 6'7" Vitaly Klitschko was 29 years old. His younger brother, 6'6" Vladimir, was 24. The duo, who grew up in Ukraine, had moved to Hamburg in 1996, the year in which they both made their professional ring debuts on the same bill. Vitaly had been a world champion kickboxer before switching to the sweet science. He won the WBO world title in 1999, but had lost it to Chris Bird a few months prior to our visit. When we caught up with the Klitschkos, Vladimir was preparing to avenge his brother's defeat to Chris Bird and win back the WBO title for Team Klitschko.
Vladimir's Magic Man.
14 years ago, the Klitschkos were both trained by Fritz Zdunek. The German was also training the likes of Hungarian featherweight István Kovács, who won gold at the 1996 Olympics and a world title in 2001. Zdunek was crucial in the early part of the brothers' careers and knew better than anyone just what they were capable of achieving.
I think
that both Vladimir and Vitaly are very clever boxers. They don't just think about their boxing in the ring, they know a lot about the history of the sport. And they also think very carefully about the future, about what they will do with their lives when they stop boxing professionally.
The brothers' preparations for the future included studying for PhDs in sports science. They had also recently started a foundation to help benefit children back in their native Ukraine. It was very clear to us that this pair were not your stereotypical boxers.
They support each other totally. There's no jealousy between them. When Vladimir started his build-up to this fight, Vitaly was always there to support him.
When Vitaly lost to Chris Bird in April 2000, he'd been well ahead on all of the judges' scorecards before a shoulder injury suffered early in the fight forced him to retire following the 9th round.
It was difficult for many people to understand why a boxer would just give his world title away to his opponents in that fight, more or less like a present. Well, you see, for me, my health is more important than anything else. And in that particular moment, I was in so much pain from my shoulder that I was in danger of passing out, which would have meant a loss anyway.
At the time, critics were quick to label Vitaly a quitter. Surely, they said, no real fighter would just retire with a world title at stake. His courage was questioned.
In my heart, I believe I did the right thing when I stopped the bout. And now that I know that I will get back in good shape again, I know that I'll win that belt back, as well as many others.
Vitaly's next world title shot would come in 2003 against Lennox Lewis. Again, Vitaly led on the cards before the ringside doctor stopped the fight at the end of the 6th due to a gaping cut over Klitschko's left eye. It was a bruising encounter which sent Lewis into retirement and ushered in the era of the Klitschkos.
Big guy, big car.
From mid-2004 onwards, Vitaly and Vladimir went on to utterly dominate the heavyweight division. Between them, they would claim all the major boxing belts. Despite their superstar status in Germany and Ukraine, the brothers have always remained grounded personalities and very close to their roots. This quality was apparent when we spent time with them. Vitaly allowed us into his family home, where we met his wife, Natalia, and the firstborn of their 3 children, Yegor Daniel. The older Klitschko is a modest man who revealed to us that he thought Vladimir was the better boxer of the two.
As far as his boxing career is concerned, no matter how much he has already achieved, I think that Vladimir has not yet shown anything near everything that he is capable of in the ring. I'd say that the best is most definitely still to come from him.
To date, Vladimir has won 61 of his 64 fights and is the reigning WBA, IBF and WBO champion. His older brother recently announced that he was giving up his WBC title in order to focus on his political career in Ukraine, where he's an opposition leader. Vitaly has said that it's unlikely he'll fight again, meaning that Vladimir has the chance to become undisputed world champion. The Klitschko's devotion to their training remains legendary, and we were privileged enough to witness that firsthand. Back in 2000, they trained at the Universum Gym alongside Regina Halmich, another well-known face in the boxing world.
I have been to many different training camps all over the world, and I would say that this one here is like a family, in the sporting sense. Everybody is very united, and everybody understands each other perfectly. But you mustn't forget that ultimately, boxing as a sport is about fighting against each other.
The Klitschkos, whom we met 14 years ago, were likeable and confident young men with an acute sense of their own destiny.
Our aim and our dream is to become champions of the world and to collect the 4 most important titles in the division and keep them in our family.
Vladimir and Vitaly Klitschko. Mission accomplished.